Dr. James Dukes, who's the best known ethnobotanist in the world. He went around all Polynesia looking at the traditional uses that they developed over millennia of time to use it for pain relief, anti-inflammatories, antibacterial, antifungal, high blood pressure, diabetes. There's been published research now. The fruit looks like this. There's 165 compounds in the pulp of the fruit. It was done at Johns Hopkins about 25 years ago. A clinical analysis. See if I can find this. Here we go. All of these compounds are in the pulp of this fruit. And so that's what makes Noni so broad-based. A lot of times when I'm doing lectures at medical conventions, I go, is Noni a miracle? No. But does it heal? Absolutely, if you don't destroy the pulp in processing. There's multi-level marketing companies that will make a juice out of it. The interesting thing about the fruit, in this form, there's 165 compounds in solid form. 2 days it gets soft like a ripe tomato. They would eat it like a ripe tomato. That's how Noni was used for thousands of years as a preventative, to keep themselves from getting sick. In about another 2 days, it starts to naturally rot and ferment. It creates alcohol and formaldehyde. It's the God-given ability of the fruit to destroy itself. It's decomposing. So what happens is you destroy most of the benefit by juicing it. So we develop a process, we grow it, and we actually have about a 5 to 6 hour window. Once it gets ripe, we have to process it. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, we're in there processing it. We dehydrate it below 115 degrees, and it comes out like a fruit roll-up. It's the whole pulp, no additives, no preservatives, 2-year shelf life unrefrigerated, because we haven't destroyed the antibacterial qualities that's in the pulp. I worked for 10 years with the University of Hawaii Athletic Department. Some of you are from the mainland. Yeah. Michigan State basketball team has been using our lotions for 6 years now. Topically, heals ligament, tendon, joint damage. There's compounds in the pulp that stimulate cell growth. So they actually found doing MRIs on athletes with hamstrings, quadriceps, hip flexors, heals it, and they play all season. So what we have found, we'll finish up, is arthritis is a big one. Pain, eczema, psoriasis topically, heals it. The last thing I'll say is I've been going for 8 years now to the American Holistic Veterinary Conventions, 600 licensed vets. And the thing I like working with animals, there's no placebo. They're feeding our fruit leather to horses in Virginia, healing them of Lyme disease. The lotions topically, mange, staph infections. You feed it to an animal, hip dysplasia goes away in 24 to 40 hours. It controls parasites and worms, which is one of the traditional uses here by hunters. Feed this twice a month to their dogs. Roundworm, hookworm, pinworm, and heartworm.
But how are you getting this to the mainland? I mean, you said it's got a short window of time.
What we do is we take this pulp and we grind it up and remove the seeds. And it comes out like applesauce. And we developed a process that takes us 60 hours to dehydrate it below 115 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's raw food. And we found by removing the water, it stabilizes the compounds so they don't ferment. We fold it up in a 2-ounce package as a month's supply. We ship it, U.S. priority mail, all over the world.
It's like a fruit leather.
It's like you're drying apples and pears. The difference is most fruits dry at 160 to 185 degrees. They're cooking it. You go past 118 degrees, you start killing enzymes and phytonutrients. By the time you get to 130, you destroy everything in the pulp. So we're doing it for medicinally, trying to preserve what's in the pulp, and it works. So
you're freezing it. Did I hear that?
No, I'm not freezing it. We're dehydrating.
You're dehydrating.
Yeah, you'll see Noni in capsules, freeze-dried capsules. Freeze-dried capsule, they steam it at 140 degrees to sterilize it. Then they vacuum out the moisture. You've destroyed it at high temperatures. Most capsules, to make a powder out of it, and this is why we don't make a powder, you have to cook it at 165 degrees to make it into a powder. So we were trying to preserve, and it's my partner who's retired about 2 years ago, he lived in Hyena, and he actually developed the process. I was growing Noni, and we've got 37 acres now. We got a lot of Noni trees.
How old are you now? 102?
I'm 103.
He's 103 years old.
But it does, it
my
works.
baby Stefan, and I take the whole fruit. I make the applesauce out of it because we get it fresh here, and I have it every morning, about 4 tablespoons and a little bit of water. There's hardly, it smells bad, but there's hardly any taste to it.
We have raw food vegan restaurants uses a cheese substitute. It tastes like blue cheese. Juice, when it ferments, it tastes like a rotten blue cheese. So kids throw it at each other, stinky fruit. It gets on you and you steak because it smells terrible when it ferments. but we don't let it do that. So it actually has a cheesy flavor. So
And then
very potent.
And then when I travel, I always take a pack of that fruit, and every morning I have like a 2x2 square, and I put it in water, and I just take it that way when I travel. But it's a very intimate part of my diet.
So do you have the analysis? Is that after you have?
We actually sent our fruit leather and 2 Noni juices to an independent lab in California about 3 months ago. Came back, our fruit leather was 9 times more potent than the juice, which didn't surprise us because it comes from the pulp. Scientifically, when you go from a solid to a liquid, you lose 50% of the enzymes, the phytonutrients. Fermentation destroys the rest of them. As an example, are you familiar with ORAC at all? ORAC values of foods and supplements? An ounce of juice is 700 units. A 2-inch by 2-inch piece of our fruit leather, which equals an ounce of juice, 6,024 units of ORAC. 9 times more potent than juice because of where it came from. And if you really look at it, they ate it. That's how Noni was used. The problem is you can't get the fruit. You can stick it in a refrigerator, it will ferment. Once it goes off, you can't stop it. So that's why we do what we do.
If you live in Hawaii, it's a pretty easy. Actually, this popped up in my. That's a little. It just came up in my farm, and I just brought it here about 3 years ago, and planted it there, and it just took off into this tree, and it's very prolific. So it grows well in the tropics like this.
And they used every part of the root and the bark they use for yellow dye. The flowers in some cultures, they actually make a sty medicine for styes in your eyes. The leaf has 18 compounds. This has 165 compounds. So I used to steam the leaves when my kids played soccer and put it on their knees. Now I use what we do because everything that's in the leaf is in the pulp. And you find everything in the pulp. And that's why we save the pulp.
And you've got 37 acres of that?
I don't have all 37. It was a jungle like here. I've got probably about 15 acres. I'm planting another, doubling it right now. We're starting more trees.
You do mechanical harvesting, or how do you?
It's all by hand. We're a certified organic family farm, and we just started last Friday doing farm tours. And we do a half hour. We mulch, we vermiculture, we compost, and we foliar spray. We spend about a half hour talking about that and what you can do in your own backyard. And then we go around, we see Noni, and we walk through our place. We talk about it and we process. But there's a lot of articles on our website, which is realnoni.com, that have been published interviewing MDs, NDs, sports trainers, veterinarians using our product with published research. And it's very broad-based because of what's in the pulp.
It can only grow environment like this.
You see it all, it's a tropical plant.
Yeah.
The ethnobotanists believe it originated in northern Australia, Borneo, spread across South China, into Polynesia. The Polynesians were the ones that took it everywhere. They took it medicinally. You'll see it in Central America. You'll see it in parts of tropical Africa. But there's 6 varieties of Noni. There's only one that's medicinal. In Hawaii, we only have this variety because they bought their best. They're not going to bring a junk one 3 months across the ocean.
It's possible to grow it in a pot.
It is possible to grow in a pot. I have people that want seeds all the time. I send it to them.
Yeah.
But like here in Hawaii, it goes from sea level to 2,000 foot elevation. About 2,000 feet is too cool here. It won't flower. So it's, if you had it inside in the warmth and the sun, you might get some flowers. It will grow, but you'll see on it, it produces fruit 12 months out of the year. Every branch is just pumping, the tonnage per acre is astronomical.
Well, thank you, Steve.
I'll let you guys go.
Can we
Yeah,
go
I got to
and-
catch up with my
You need
tour.
to catch up.